Interested in what a carrier really thinks about the way you posted that load? Price will get their attention, but there's a bunch of reasons why they might not want to haul for you again. We're talking about what carriers really think when they're booking loads, and they're already talking about this stuff, the broker do's and don'ts. So it's better if you know now what they're saying so you can have a little talk with your dispatch department. Please chime in, say hello, make new friends, and learn from the best on ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to Industry Logistics on ATI Auto Business, where everyone learns more about the automotive industry. We're talking about load boards, mobile apps, carriers, brokers, shippers. Please remember to leave a like for Sue. Share your gripe, concerns, suggestions, and don't forget to promote your company here. Please do help me wish a very warm welcome. Oh, come on, drum roll. Hang on. We gotta fix the drum roll. Can we go again on the drum roll? All right, here we go. Please do help me wish a very warm... Oh, jeez. Third time's a charm. Hey, what's up, Sue? How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I've been working away on videos, and I was running late, but we're here now, and we got Dan and Michael in the show. They're going to join us, and let me just do this here. Let me just jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. We are talking about, so we got this crazy, do you see by the way, look at that thumbnail. Do you see anything crazy about this?
Dispatch, how may I help you?
Brokers using
Hello, dispatch.
What do you mean, that they're all faded out, or?
Okay, yeah, no, it was a good try. So you got a bunch of trucks. We got a bunch of trucks sitting right on the brokers as they're brokering loads. Because
okay, gotcha.
Carriers have stuff to say. They really do. And it's almost like we don't want to hear them say it, and then they're concerned about saying it because then they won't get work. Yeah. You know, there's this whole, man, it's just, there's this lid on the boiling kettle, and it's been there for years.
Yeah, like the we're against you kind of person kind of thing is what you're saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, it is just so gnarly. Yeah. And we talk about, like, this stuff gets published on Facebook and really nowhere else. So,
yeah.
Anyways,
true.
It's not popular. We're not petting cats. We're not like riding on scooters and celebrating. You know, we're talking about the truth. We're talking about broker do's and don'ts. And as I said, I think it was Tuesday night. Brokers are going to do or don't do whatever they want to do or not do, and that's just the way it is. But at least we can talk about it. For example, here's some good COD cash. Yeah, that's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Deliver the car anytime. That's usually pretty good. Pick up anytime. Pretty good. $3 a mile. Usually pretty good. Unless it's going like 5 miles. Bad. Mix is usually bad.
Yeah.
It means, you know, it's listed as sedans, but it's 4 like excavators, and they're all going to different states.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you got actual pickup, actual delivery, where, man, that's not even anywhere near where we're going to be.
Right.
You need to take it for $50 less, or I'm hanging up the phone and, you know, blackballing you.
Yeah.
This happens all the time. And then the VIP load, I don't know if this happens anymore, but I know it was a thing when I was dispatching where, okay, the more important the person, the less information we got.
It's the only person that usually does it is Montway still. They're the only ones that usually do the VIP stuff.
And, you know, and I try to leave, thank you for saying that, because I try to leave names out of it. Huh. I have to see, you know, I have to mingle with professionals at trade shows, and then I get embarrassed from time to time because, you know, well, Jay, you said this. Well, I'm like, but your company did it. I mean, come on. I didn't do it. Skip Kavanaugh published this cool article on LinkedIn. What do brokers do anyways? So I'm going to go through it in one breath. Because actually, this is good.
Yeah.
Why do we need brokers anyways? Well, what about lead acquisition, digital marketing, generating leads, partnering with dealerships and OEMs and rental car companies and all those different companies that ship cars, and the referrals and the networking and the potential clients and the partners, and qualifying the leads. Who wants to go through qualifying that lead that may or may not turn into business?
True.
Do you want to do that from your truck?
Nope.
How about gathering information about all the customer and their preferences and the colors they like and the cats and all the information, and providing quotes and competitive pricing, and dude, can you do it for $5 less, and this guy's down the street, and all the yada yada, and then the reservation management and the planning of the routes, and dealing with, now we as dispatchers do with some of this.
Right.
But still, on the broker end, they got to put this into the quote, and then you got to say hi to the kids, and you got to combine, bring apples, and you got to select the right carrier and the transport company, and the driver, and monitor the progress, and handle all the phone calls. Where's my car? It's on the way. I promise. I double promise. I pinky swear. And then they issue resolution, all the challenges and disputes and questions and concerns, and can you please go out and look at my car and send me a photo? Communicating, regularly tell me I'm wrong. Yeah, go ahead, tell me I'm wrong. Yeah,
no, that's all right.
Exactly.
I mean,
regular communication with the customers. It's constantly worried where their car is, what their car is doing, is it okay? And the support and the assistance and the guidance, and then the follow-up and the feedback and the customers, and then the invoicing and generating invoices and processing payment. We don't take Cash App. We need Venmo. Do you do Zelle? Can you send a check? And all that stuff. And then the disputes, because of course there's going to be a dispute. There's going to be a discrepancy. And then you got to make sure you make sure you get the driver paid and the carrier paid, and making sure you record revenue. This is a business, and we need to have reports on financial statements and meetings and conferences. Well, according to the FMCSA, most auto transport companies have less than 4 trucks, and doing all this crap would probably make them unprofitable. See, camera one, I'm standing up for brokers. And now we're about to go the other direction. No, it's a hard business. Last week we did, how do I get into hauling new cars for OEMs? And so can I go to the Finished Vehicle Logistics Conference in Huntington Beach and start hauling cars for OEMs? I think it's a legitimate question, so I asked it. So there. And then, hey, here's why OEMs can't hire your small business to move their car. Do you have a chain of command? What happens if you don't show up? What if you're sick? What if you don't want to do it that day?
Mm-hmm.
You need a deep bench of people. You need volume pricing, scalability. This is why Shark Tank probably wouldn't want to put money into your business yet, because you're not ready to scale. We were talking about which auto transport load boards are worth paying for 2 weeks ago. And we came up with an updated list. We're excited about that. We even have criteria. We have documented. How did you come up with that? Very scientific, right? Scientists document their theories of their conclusions and their beakers. Tuesday night, we talked about dealer logistics, recon, retail. This was a pretty good show, actually. Had a few people on fire. Met this guy, Mike Weber. You know what's weird? I was just saying, man, I wish I had an insurance company to talk to.
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. Yeah.
Exactly. Guess what Mike does?
Insurance?
Auto transport, business insurance.
Awesome.
I know. I talk to him more, hopefully see if we can learn more, put something together. He's with Highland. And Highland is actually involved with NVTA, a founding member of NVTA, which, you remember National Vehicle Transporters Alliance? That ring a bell?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we, talk about getting to know the ecosystem. That's what we do here. We don't just gripe. It's a neutral zone. You can gripe. Pros and cons. Hey, did you get the memo? Will it be good or will it be bad? Oh, crap.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows this. This is another thing being talked about behind the water. Not even in front of the water cooler. Do not talk about this in the hallway. Take it outside, or just get it out of the building. VeriRisk Analytics Cargo Net reported that criminal activities impacting the logistics and transportation industry increased 46%.
Wow.
year over year. Now, this is freight stuff. Check this out. The report estimates that over $150 million worth of goods was stolen
Wow.
in a year's time recently. Again, this is freight, but we know it's happening in cars. I don't know what the cars number is. So the guy said that this new type of crime, big time, bless you, is document forgery. Document forgery is the big deal. This makes sense. Check this out. Bless you.
Sorry.
Okay, this guy explained the tactics in between sneezes. He says that criminals assuming the role of a professional driver fraudulently secure a load.
Yep.
Then they drive the load to its intended destination and partially unload it and alter the bill of lading to show the complete load was delivered.
Oh.
So what I'm trying to figure out, how is it happening in auto transport? What's the common scheme? Because the car got picked up, but it never gets to where it was supposed to go.
Yeah, so what they've been doing is they're stealing the information, sending a driver there that isn't the driver. So the day that it happened to me, remember, they accessed my central dispatch account, took the load from a broker that I never even asked the load for. Then they sent their own driver there, told them that the broker was shady or something like that, and that they should deal with them, and sent the driver to pick it up, and the people agreed to it, and they let them take it and drove away with it, and we never saw it again. And I'm the one that called the broker when it was happening, and I said, you need to call your customer. Something shady's going on. I didn't accept this load. I'm not taking this load. Someone's trying to steal the car, and they didn't get a hold of them right away. And so, needless to say, the car got taken. So,
but
that's in general what's going on.
Okay, all major brokers pretty much are saying that they are having vehicles stolen.
Yes.
Is this how it's happening?
Well, that's how it happened with me.
Our dispatch, because I can't get them to talk about it.
Well, remember the other guy that talked about it before it started happening to us, that his central account kept getting hacked and they were doing CODs or vice versa. They were doing billings and he never does anything but CODs. So every day he had to check his account to see if a car had been dispatched so he could grab it and stop it from happening. That's what was happening with him. It wasn't they were stealing the cars. They were stealing basically the money, doing the vehicles, but stealing the money.
I'm going to go to the live chat.
Okay.
Because we're going to stay on this topic. But I just wanted to say, Car Hauling Chip is here. What's up, Chip? Michael at Peach Transport. He's on the show today. What's up, Michael? And, oh, cool. Charles, he says that this shipping channel is the GOAT. That's pretty neat. Thanks, Charles. That's really nice. DDD is here. I'll say Anna is here. What's up? And Ken is here. What's going on, Ken? So this is the thing. I mean, like I don't know why I always ask the hard questions, the crazy stuff. Like, I've got a couple polls in here which are like nice questions. Like, what method of communication do you prefer? But if I put out a poll, it would say, how do you think your vehicles are being stolen?
Mm-hmm.
And no one's going to reply to that, even though secretly people, I mean, they're telling me.
Well, right. We've gotten some personal information from somebody that knew, where did they say they were from? I hate to say this, but they come over here from Ukraine or something like that.
Yeah. We'll leave the names out.
I'm not saying names. I'm just saying it was a Ukraine person is what he was told that had been taught how to steal the cars.
So, all right, now how did he steal the cars?
I think they were hacking.
They were hacking
into the system.
So you said hacking before, you just said hacking again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, so I know a big company that they had vehicles stolen. It was their kind of first experience this way. And really what happened was, yes, you're right. They had, I guess it's a hack because they had posted the load on a number one load board. And they thought the driver booked it and went to pick it up. Come to find out, it was a different driver that showed up and picked it up.
Different company altogether, right?
And in fact, I think also somehow this thing got relisted.
Oh.
So there, it seems like that's what I'm trying to understand. It seems like there's a couple types of hacks going on.
Well,
One
there's
is
another one where they're
stealing the post
double.
and reposting.
Yeah, double brokering.
Or there is stealing the information and having somebody else go get it.
Right. Yeah, there's 2 different ones. There might actually technically could be 3 if you want to be technical. Because one of them is just money. Because that one guy that was having it happen, they were literally not giving the
It was a fake post.
Right.
And
they weren't fake posts, they were his real posts, but they were going in and dispatching them as what did I tell you? As billings instead of CODs, and the driver would unload the car and ask them for the money, and he goes, "I didn't book this with you." That's how he found out. And then they're wanting
post. I'm going to call that fake post.
Yeah, fake post. There you go.
Fake post. Okay, so we got fake post.
And that was about just stealing the money, basically.
Right, and that seems to be the easy one. Because that way the driver doesn't know they're doing anything wrong.
Right, they have no idea.
Post.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have fake driver, that's just straight up criminal activity.
Right, right.
I mean, now you're just, like it doesn't matter. I mean, who cares, you know? Because these things, I'm sure they don't get really that prosecuted, you know. We're focused more on, I'm not even gonna say what we're more focused on, because now I'm definitely gonna get canceled. Okay. All right. So, but in it, and we'll put it all, fake post, fake driver comes under like list hacking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because that's what they were doing on
list hacking.
The U-Ship website. They were bidding on all these cars under everybody's MCs. So they were hacking that system too. And then going and picking up the cars and stealing them.
Well, and here's part of the interesting, this is why I wanted to follow this thread, is that DDD says, create a code word, pick a name on the door, copy of license, problem solved. Well, and this is what we are right there. We don't want 1984, but
Dispatch,
we're going to get it.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, I had a broker do exactly that.
1984.
They sent me a code word through Central Dispatch to verify I was who I was. I don't have a problem with it. And if you do, it's kind of silly because you want to make sure that nothing shady's going on.
But is the code word, 2-step verification, all that, making it harder for you to do your job? It's just a question.
Yes.
I mean, it's just another step.
Okay.
I guess technically, but to me, it's.
But it's not like.
Mind it.
What I don't like is when I get sent a code or something, and then I can't freaking get to it.
Right. Okay.
So now I can't continue.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. Some dispatchers may not have access to that central dispatch account because I know some transporters don't like them to have that. So, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't have access to get that code. So then it's going to be a problem.
Exactly. Because, back in the days when cars arrive, you know, hey, don't tell them don't tell them you're a dispatcher. Right. I remember.
Yeah.
Don't tell them you're a dispatcher.
Yeah.
That was a real thing 10 years ago. Let's do this. Hey, stick around 1 second. We'll be right back after this. We're going to get into broker do's and don'ts. You don't or do want to miss it.
Are you completely stressed out from all the calls and the contracts and the verifications of loads where nobody ever answers the phone? Call Murphy Auto Dispatch Services today. Murphy Auto Dispatch Services has over 15 years in the transport industry. We are your office while you are on the road. We book, we verify, and we bill out your loads for you. We have an excellent accounting staff and an even better dispatch team. Give us a call today at 417-273-0021, or if you want to email me, it's murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. Give us a call today.
That's the voice of Sue. If you need help shipping a car or staying loaded, Murphy Auto Transport Services is there for you. Visit murphyautotransportservices.com. Sue is here with me if you have any questions. So here we go. All right, it is now time to, we're going to try and do broker do's and don'ts. Michael, can you see us and hear us okay?
Yes, I can see you and hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes. We can see you. We can hear you. I think Dan is joining now. And thanks so much for taking the time. You're in your truck?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, good. That's perfect. That's perfect. Already.
Enjoying the weather.
Yeah. Is it beautiful everywhere right now?
I don't know.
Sue, you got good weather?
Yeah, right now.
I got great weather here in Kansas City. Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, Dan is on his way in. All right. So, what do you think of this topic, first of all? What do you think of this topic?
Do's and don'ts. Well, I think it's a little bit edgy. I know, Jay, you like some edgy material. I've been in this industry for over a decade, and I have at least basic expectations of what's going on. And basically, it's both sides will try to get away with anything they can. It's a broker or a carrier, and that's just part of the business, and I'm okay with it, and I have to take it as it is. So I'm not really getting frustrated or annoyed by what's going on.
Awesome intro. All right, we're going to come back to that. Dan, can you see us and hear us okay?
I can hear you and see you.
Perfect. Hey, Dan, go ahead and tilt that device for me if you can. Perfect. That way we get all of you. Oh, no, we can't. That didn't work. You know, I don't know why some devices have a button.
We had this last time where
Yeah,
it
we
did
did this. All right, well, stay portrait. You're all good. All right, Dan, please say hello and tell us what you think of this topic.
Hello, are we live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on air?
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that cool? With me, you
I was
never
having
know.
some technical difficulties during the
Nah.
pre-open part. So,
No, you're good. You're good.
So-
we just started the segment.
what is the topic? Fill me in.
Oh, I love that. This is real life. Okay. Today we're going to do broker do's and don'ts. And I also say these are things that shippers would probably like to know about the industry from a carrier's point of view. Because a shipper gets told all the great stuff. Right?
Constructive criticism.
It'll be there tomorrow. There's a truck around the corner. It's cheap. It's easy. What would a carrier like for the shipper to know? And also causes them frustration with some of the loads they book.
I think from the carrier's point of view, from my perspective, probably the number one thing would be just tell the truth. I feel like when you talk to a lot of these guys, you know, it's always just very confusing because it's like they're trying to keep their stories straight. I mean, just, you know, I was watching the show a couple days ago, and there was the broker that was on, and he was talking about how I don't remember the exact details, but something happened at the end of the day. Like 8 of the guys from that brokerage went to his Google review and like burned them with 1 stars. It's back to, it just seems like nobody has any, their moral compass is just pointed wrong. It seems. I mean, they'll get very, very cutthroat. It's to a point. Fortunately for me, you know, last time I was on, it was a little bit earlier on, just getting out and seeing what's going on. And I've been doing it a little bit long enough now where, you know, that list of brokers that you kind of know what you get before you're going to call.
Yeah.
I just haven't been calling on them. You know, back to some of the things like you call them right away, and we talk about, hey, they're wanting you to come down on the price before they even say hello. At least, you know,
Okay,
wine
so
me and
there's
dine me a little bit.
$50 less.
Yeah.
How do they? Right. So okay. So that's one of them, and I'm going to bring up my list here again because I really do. Some people need hard data, right? And that's why I was telling you guys, you know, try to put a list together if you can. Not required, but I want to say this is that. So Michael, you said something about both sides. Everybody will do whatever they can, you know, which is true. That's true.
This is true. And some, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
You. What were you going to say?
All right. So we have to also understand that there are different carriers and there are different brokers by size and by the experience. I get often, I see often that new carriers and new brokers get really frustrating with the status quo, which is both sides will try to get away with anything they can. And when you're not experienced and you see quote unquote unethical behavior from the perspective of the beginner, you get really frustrated. You leave negative comments, you leave negative reviews, and your stress level goes up.
Mm.
But once you've been in the industry for a while, and your expectations are that you know, negotiations is part of the game, and wrong information is also part of the game, your frustrations level will really coming down.
So I wrote down truth, and so like one of the things that I think about, and I think this is where I'd be better off. This whole idea of like search for the truth is just kind of a stress nightmare. It's better to just say what is popular. It's just better. And I say this because like I look at LinkedIn, and rarely I'm going never. I have never seen anyone post people will take whatever they can get. I see posts of, you know, you can do it, believe in yourself, you know,
relationship building,
your 10,000%, whatever. But you don't see people will take whatever they can get. And because of that, when we talk about something like this, it just seems so negative.
Yeah, expectations are wrong expectations. Mm-hmm.
But right, I mean, like
expectations.
Expectations. That's right. That's a big one. Expectations.
That's a key. That's a key to happiness in life. So I've been married for 17 years now, and I've worked very, very hard to keep my wife's expectations as low as they are, and because of it, we have a great marriage.
I appreciate that. See, again, you won't see that on LinkedIn.
But here, learn from the paths I've been down. Skipping Christmas is too far.
Oh yeah, dude. No,
I only did that one time.
You can't do
almost
that.
anything one time. But yeah, that was one time. Too far. Too far.
I will also say that like we're all right, I'm going to say something really silly here. We're engaged, we're having a good laugh at something that we can all agree on. One of the things I see in content today is everyone's having a good laugh on something they can agree on, but only like food or weather. Again, it has nothing to do with truth. Or like, I don't know.
We can't handle the truth.
Cars are people too, and all this. It is a weird, and I'm saying this, Michael, because you said like I'm looking for the edge. I think it's so strange that the edge I'm looking for is just a little bit of truth.
Yeah,
that's the edge. The truth is the edge. Well, as you said, Dan, what the hell's the moral compass if the edge is the truth?
Well, what is the truth? The truth of it is we're all in business to try to profit, right? So what are we all out here trying to do? We're all trying to keep as big of a piece of the pie as we can. Now, what I see differently is how maybe, actors go about trying to get their piece of the pie. That's where I think things could maybe be done differently. Such as some of my gripes are, I've heard you mention on the show, that you call into the broker, oh, let me talk to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what do you mean? Let you talk to the customer. Some of the things that I think could be done, like you guys were talking about on Central, what could be done for vetting on Central in this day and age? Maybe before you post a load, maybe you actually have a real deal. Maybe a signed contract needs to be part of the process, or maybe there should be a box on the listing that says, hey, we have a contract, or no, we don't have a contract. Because you get on there and you see the same vehicle going to the same place, posted for 3 or 4 different prices.
Yep.
And it's that part can be, can be aggravating. But like Michael said, once you've been a little more seasoned to it, you just come to expect it and kind of know what you're getting. Now, that doesn't mean it's right. And in fact, some of that complacency, I think, is why things have gotten as far off the track as they had. For instance, not too long ago, I don't know, maybe it was just coincidence, but one of the bigger brokers I was calling about, and they did this, it was $25 instead of $50. They went for $25 right away. And I got off the phone and I reached out to Central Dispatch after that and kind of asked them some questions if that was part of their policy. They had some kind of thing where they did put in a complaint, and 10 minutes later, you're constantly power refreshing. Yeah, it is. You're always refreshing. Well, that listing was updated, and it was reduced by that broker by $25. So I don't know if that was something maybe Central Dispatch actually reached out to them and said, hey, we just had a complaint about this, and maybe they are fixing some of this stuff, or it was just coincidence. I don't know. Have you guys experienced any of that?
Coincidence is what I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they did anything.
That's what people do best usually.
Yeah.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
All those things that you guys mentioning, it's not. I don't feel it's that big of a deal. Those outlier brokers. It's not majority. It's not constant. It's not every day. It once in a while. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's maybe disappointing. But I don't know. You just roll with it. You just go on with your business and
See,
do
but
what you gotta do.
I have a problem with it because it happens to me every single day. I mean, every single day. And when I'm training somebody and I have to explain to them, you see all these loads, there's 5 loads, they're all the same car. You see all these Kia Souls, they may have a different year, but that's the exact same car. So I'm trying to train a dispatcher how to decipher, if these are legits. And I always explain to them, if you see this company, this company, this company, and they're all listed, you might as well figure that's not a legit load. But what's sad is, why do we have to train somebody for that? They shouldn't be allowed to do it.
I
It
agree.
takes up, if you think of it this way, when we think there's like 60,000 loads on the board and there's really only 40,000 because they're all double brokered, then that's a problem too.
All right, so
Yeah.
What do you think, Michael?
yeah, Michael.
I don't think we'll be able to manage this out completely. There's always going to be
True.
bad actors. If it's
Yeah.
easier for them to enter the industry, they will enter the industry. Yeah, that's.
He's right about that.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting. There's always different ways we can go about a theory, a discussion, and so I'm gonna stay on this part. You talked about piece of the pie, Dan. Okay, yes, the pie is up for grabs, right? Free enterprise. This is America. All right, pie is up for grabs. Fine, that's great. We all know that's true. But then that's why I get frustrated when we pretend that that's not what we're doing.
Boom.
And we say, and this is LinkedIn is the place to see this day in and day out. There's this whole movement that we're focused on the customer's needs rather than selling them another car.
Hello?
Okay, you could do both, but let's be honest.
Right.
Please. And here's how I know that I'm right. And I don't want to be right.
That's it.
Or whatever version of this I'm right about. Is that by the time it gets to logistics and there's 4 freaking loads and you got to teach your dispatcher, the reason it's a crap show in logistics is because there were lies from the beginning.
My doctor does.
Yes.
Lies, pretending, whatever the heck you want to call it. Whatever fluffy, and part of what's really weird to me, like we say, well, that guy's a snowflake or he's a snowflake. Yeah, but can you handle the truth? That's too edgy. Okay, what? Where the heck is the compass?
64.
We're not all speaking the same language. And you're better off, I will camera one this, you are better off if you just pretend Pretend that everything's rosy and get the biggest slice of pie you can. There, I said it. That is how this thing works. Change my mind. Preaching to the choir. I'm always preaching to the choir. All right, so now that we've gotten a little bit of the philosophy out of the way, should we start with good or bad? Which list this is actually one of the things I was wondering. Which of your lists is bigger? Is your stuff I love about brokers list bigger than your stuff I hate? The
well, yeah, my list, of course. Without the brokers, I wouldn't have a job. So the way it on my scale is, of course, I like the brokers, and I will work with them even if they cancel a load. I'm not gonna leave them a negative review. If they paid late, even though they said quick pay, and they paid in 30 days, I'm not going to leave them a negative review. If they ask me to collect their broker fees, even though it's not my job, I'm not going to ask them for a negative review. So, I like brokers.
All right. Hey, that's good. But do you then begin to form a list of who you'd rather work for?
No.
You don't?
The price, no, the price is the king. The money talks. That's it. Yeah, of course. If I'm loaded,
even if it's not real money.
Well, I mean, not real money. What do you mean? Who pays you with monopoly money?
These when I say real money, these guys posting this stuff for, $2 load, and then you call them and they want you to take it for $1 load.
Well, if they want to, then we can negotiate, of course. And
you
I
like
have to look
negotiate,
at my situation.
don't you?
Well, it's part of the game. There's no other way around it. Yeah, of course. Sometimes I ask a broker for give me a 50 extra, or I'll take 50 less if there's no loads on the load board. I have to feed my family. I have to pay bills. It depends on the situation,
Sure.
I heard game. I wrote down the word game. The game also fits here.
Yeah, it does.
Because if this was just straight up goody good, we wouldn't call it a game.
True.
Right?
True.
Why is it a game? What's the game?
Well, that's the problem. I'm not playing a game here. This is my livelihood. I'm very professional. And, some of these guys, I agree with them. I think do play games. And, you just got to decide, do you want to play the game or not play the game? I choose not to play the game.
A lot of carriers choose not to play the game.
I feel
and they talk about
it. I feel a lot of carriers need to know their worth for sure. That brings a whole another point. I don't necessarily agree with Michael in the fact that there's times where I'll come back empty before I take something for that's too low. I know my worth. And I'm not just going to throw something up on the trailer, and because there's times where you're really losing money.
Mm-hmm.
If you take something too cheap, and at the end of the day, do these guys even know what their exact cost is per mile? I don't know. You would, by the amount of money you see loads being posted at, you would think people obviously don't know their cost, or it's back to last time we were on the show. Sue had mentioned some of these guys might be getting fuel cheaper than other guys, and if that's the case, I mean that would make sense, because things aren't even and our costs aren't the same, and maybe that's something I need to look into is figuring out how to reduce the cost so I can compete and move stuff for what this market bears. On the bad side of what I think brokers do is. And again, it's not all brokers, because at the end of the day, what are brokers?
Right.
They're people, just like carriers, just like dispatchers. What are people? We're flawed. Some are good, some are bad, but at the end of the day, that's what people are, and that's who brokers are. So, you can't label all brokers as bad, but what I'm confused about is how's everybody making ends meet. Are these brokers are they in different countries? Because a lot of them do have different accents. Are they in different countries where maybe the money doesn't translate to the same amount? And when they see stuff, when they sell a job for 20 cents a mile, they feel like that's good. I don't know if maybe that's part of it, or is it back to just telling that retail, that private party consumer looking to move their car, whatever they want to hear to try to get the listing, and then, put it out there and start playing the games with all the brokers, and hopefully maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, they found somebody to do it for, maybe a happy medium. And it seems like there's a lot of talk now out there that maybe just paying a more market-based fair rate from the beginning and getting the job over and done with in a timely fashion is a better way to go than, spending 3 or 4 weeks trying to work all these different carriers and work the customer. But, maybe that's how these dispatchers are trained. It's like that ad where, become a dispatcher for $134 that you had on the show. It's like, for $134, I'm almost ready to sign up and see what you get. Maybe I might learn some insight to why things are the way they are.
Hey, I want to talk about fair rates. Because I think this is part of what's really interesting, is that throughout time, there's been issues like this, the broker versus carrier, the middlemen, the who gets which part of the pie, why is it a game, and then something really changes and it's no longer an issue because things really changed. When we look at car buying, there was a long period of time where a car buyer did not know the freaking price of the car, and they had to play a game to see if they could figure it out. It's not how it works now. People don't even go to the dealership. They go online and they say, this is what I'll pay because here's what the price.
Yeah.
What if that were to happen in auto shipping? What if somehow things drastically changed and shippers no longer had to go through this guessaroo? And meaning, in the meaning why I said guessaroo is because shippers don't know that sometimes the rate is so crappy the carrier skips it.
Right.
I think they would be mortified to know that there's always gonna be a couple like, fine, take it or leave it. It's $5.
Right.
Fine. But I think a lot of shippers would be mortified to hear that carriers are skipping their load because their service provider lowballed it.
But which one?
Yeah, I think they would be too. Yeah. I think they think that the driver's getting that full amount, whatever is quoted.
That's right. And there is nowhere the shipper is going to learn this.
Yeah.
So Jay, zip it. Ixnay on the Ipper rate, Shay. By the way, did we lose Dan?
I'm back, I think. Can you hear me?
Okay, cool. We hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
And I don't know what it's going to take for that to happen. Michael, you have any opinion on that kind of concept?
The broker is a necessary part of this business. There is two things that involve there. Well, one more thing besides the price is the scheduling of the move. The broker is there to facilitate the scheduling and the price.
No, just
I don't think the shipper would be able to navigate those two things without
scheduling.
The broker.
I think the price could be figured out, but I agree with you. Why is it so complicated? That's another thing the shipper doesn't understand. Can't you just move my car?
That's just it. Like we've talked about this before. The average person doesn't usually move a car. Like if it's a residence, they've never even heard of it. They see the trucks go by. When I meet people and explain what I do, and I'm like, do you see the big trucks that drive by with the, the cars on? Oh, is that how cars get from point A to point B? Yes, they have no idea. If there was a way to, when they talk to a broker, that they're explained to this a little bit more. But of course, we know they're not going to tell them, hey, I'm going to list your car for $500, but I'm charging you $1,000. That's never going to happen.
Quest for pie.
Yeah.
that gets in
Yes.
the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quest for pie. And this is the other thing. What you getting? Hey, man, have at it. It's
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, I think, but also not just POV. Let's go to an auction. Let's
Yeah,
go
right.
back to the 80s at an auction. And you had tables of auto shipping companies ready to talk to you after you made your purchase.
Right.
Even then, I think a dealer that just purchased a vehicle is assuming that if I talk to you at your table, when we're done talking, you're in motion. Like
it
at a
up.
restaurant, when you order food, you
You're
assume
expected
they are cooking now,
Right.
right?
Right.
And this gets back to expectations. What a lovely word that is.
Yeah.
Manage them. Boom.
Boom.
Sorry, I had some technical giggles over here.
So I think part of it, you're all good. Part of it, I think, is then we get back into education. But oh my, education is boring, man. Snooze fest.
True.
Education is
Everyone's
only
learning, you know.
interesting if I can get the exact piece I need now, which is
Right.
why AI is so fascinating. So this brings us back into AI. Will AI be the thing that helps morph the game into a more virtue-stacked reality?
We have to also pay attention to this outcoming layer between the broker and the carrier. There's a dispatch layer. There's a dispatchers on the carrier side, the dispatchers on the broker side, and the carrier and the broker, they talk to each other through that dispatch layer. And dispatchers are right now, they're freelancers. A lot of dispatchers are freelancers.
Less accountability when you're freelance.
Well, but I think it's also training, inclusivity, and other things. If you're such a it's sometimes being a total freelancer, you're so removed from the company's perspective. But I also think another problem, this gets back into, yes, brokers are necessary, but there are now so many people trying to be brokers
Right.
that the competition of the brokering has taken front seat versus some sort of customer service. I also think that sales has become such a priority that large brokerages focus on sales, getting the leads, getting the deals, rather than facilitating the logistics after the sale.
I agree.
That, I think, is one of the main problems. And I've even heard of, like, carrier program. You know, this is something that here at ATI we used to talk about, even a couple of years ago. Carrier program. And what would a carrier program be? A carrier program would be, how are your relations with your carriers? Let's say you're a brokerage. Let's talk about this. Let's say you're a brokerage and you have carriers that you rely on to move your loads because you don't have any trucks, right? So how are your relations with your carriers? Anybody even ask the question? Other than pizza day, do you have a carrier relations department? Because you have a sales department. You have a customer success. God, that always gets me. You have a customer success department. But do you have a carrier relations? Does anybody even keep track of the carriers we use or talk to them or anything like that? Well, we have a t-shirt raffle once a month. Okay.
It's not necessary. Do you think it's necessary to have a carrier relationship?
Yeah, I do. We should. That's why I want to talk about it. Tell me why it's not. Go ahead. That's cool. Tell me why.
The carriers, the shippers, the dealers, they don't have enough loads, the cars to keep a specific number of carriers occupied all the time. And the carrier always will have to look somewhere else for the load. And if the shipper offers lower price, the carrier won't take it, even though I had some pizza last week with the shipper.
He made it to pizza day. All right. So I'm not calling for a government program. Okay. The Department of Carrier Relations. Don't tell Biden. Somebody probably just, Karen Bass is right now at a podium. We need. Okay. It's not funny. So carrier relations, though, I mean, how do you get across? We see these memos that come across the desk. Here, I got one right here. I'm gonna ask a really dumb question. As usual. All right, here it is. Mandatory new carrier packet complete today. This got emailed out. Is this the only system of contacting the carriers that haul for us?
Who is this?
Circle Logistics. Nothing wrong with this email. But I'm asking the question because your customer success team, which is client facing, darn sure makes sure that they get in touch with their clients if there's a change. And if you had a carrier relations department, you could do that with your carriers. But if you don't have anybody focused on carrier success, oh my God, that's the name of the department. Carrier success.
I think,
And there's no other option.
It just shows you what they value.
Well,
What they
that's part of
value.
what I'm getting at. And it's that edgy truth, right?
Yes.
That I'm so inclined to chase.
I think the money the shipper spends on a carrier relationship department should be spent on a brokerage. It will go
Well,
much
that is
further.
what's happening, actually. So everything is tilted your way. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. You know, the thing is, I don't need new laws put in the books. I'm just talking about this stuff because people want to know why. I'll tell you what, because you don't have a carrier success team, this is why a VP gets a freaking phone call at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night because a carrier screwed up. No VP should be getting a phone call about a carrier problem, but it is happening. You know why? There's no carrier, here comes the applause, there's no carrier success team. So if you like upper management getting random phone calls about random problems, things are perfect. That'd be the end of the show. All of our problems are solved. Here, let's do this. But I found this interesting in the email. Transitioning from my carrier packets to highway. Isn't that interesting? Wasn't my carrier packets kind of a good thing in its heyday? But is highway better? And you're muted because you're courteous. That joke never works. Sue. Oh no, I still can't hear you, Sue.
Highway, you have to put your ELD information in.
Oh.
And if your driver doesn't have ELD because his truck is too old, then you can't get him on there. It's kind of a real pain.
Oh.
Even trying to
My
do
carrier
the
packets
ELD.
was way easier.
So Joe Biden did hear us. Okay. Hey, speaking of stuff, this is maybe the longest positive comment ever. So thank you, Ty Jones. Saw Tuesday night, loved it. Really was a good show. It's hard to package a long show like that because you can't get it in 30 seconds. But he said, if at all possible, I'd love to have the same panel discuss freight brokers, auto transporters possessing $1 million in freight broker auto liability coverage. And this made me think of you, Sue, right? Like, he talks about the reasons why, you know, opposed to just having the $75,000 bond. Some upper-end dealerships and or higher-end auto owners and shippers alike will not consider the services of a broker if they don't have the $1 million contingent cargo form, broad form policy. This guy really knows. And I want to have him on as a guest because he's very specific. and it gets in the weeds and it's really boring. It's that boring education we talked about. But when you run into this, it's a really big deal. And if you're a big business and you want to work with an OEM or a nationwide fleet management company, you're probably running into this. Anyways, all right, see? Everyone's stunned at the boringness. Central Dispatch put this out. I saw this on LinkedIn. When it comes to finding loads online, what is that?
I have a question. Maybe
Yeah.
Sue could answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Back to all these cars that are turning up missing.
Uh-huh.
So when it comes time to pay out on that, if they never surface, is it the broker's insurance that pays on that?
No, brokers don't carry insurance for that stuff. So by law, everybody's car has to have insurance on it when it's being transported, like if it's a residential or anything like that. And the same thing with a dealership. If they were to purchase a car, they have insurance that covers that car from point A to point B, or they should. That's the way it's supposed to work. So if it was a residence, it's going to fall on their insurance. And if it's the dealer, it's going to fall on theirs, generally speaking, because none of us brokers carry that, because if the car got stolen and they didn't haul for us, we can't even file against that insurance agent because they didn't pick up the car. So who do we go after? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I was just kind of curious about that now, because the other side of my business is a small mom and pop car dealer, and I have a partner, and we've got a car missing as we speak.
No way, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
my
guys
gosh.
carry? I think it's like garage keepers insurance. Is that what you guys carry? Is that it should cover that kind of thing or something to that effect?
Open lot is what
Okay.
the car dealers is. I mean, you try not to make any claims,
Right.
You know how that goes. But we had picked up out of Manheim, Phoenix, and it was supposed to be delivered Monday.
missing. Wow.
Here it is Thursday, and now the guy's not answering.
Wow.
Oh, no.
So, wow. Let's just talk about this in very generic
Did
terms.
you call his insurance company? That's the first thing I would do.
You know what? I haven't done anything yet. The first thing I did was ask that question to you, so I kind of have a where I know where to start. I'm hoping maybe I talk to my partner and he says the car shows up here by the end of the day, but something tells me if it doesn't surface here or we at least don't get an update, it's probably going to be time to start.
Yeah, I would first call. You can call the police, and then you also call their insurance company and tell them what's going on. Usually, as long as their insurance is active and everything, they'll be calling them trying to find out what's going on for you, because they don't want to claim either. So you might go that direction first.
I guess first place would be start with the broker, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that too.
So you've got this instance. So you had a carrier picked up your car that you posted.
Mm-hmm.
You posted on the #1 load board.
I assume I was hands off in this, but I assume that's probably what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you're assuming that the carrier that booked it is the carrier that picked it up. That's right. Hoping. Okay. So there we go. So what happens? So Sue, what happens if it was a different? Is it possible that it was a different carrier altogether?
I mean, it is, but first thing, he's right. If they went through a broker, go through your broker first, get all the pertinent details, who it is, name of transporter, their insurance, if you can get the driver's name and phone number, all the good stuff. And then if you want to contact me, tell me who the broker is. I'll tell you if it's good, bad, or ugly. How about that?
And check the got to keep that offline. You can't that edgy truth can't do that.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, BGA says Manheim takes a copy of driver's license.
Yes, they do.
Manheim driver's license.
But here's the deal at Manheim.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't take a copy; they scan it, and I've forgotten my driver's license, checking stuff out. And they'll pull theirs out and hit the barcode on theirs just to let it go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's not always ironclad.
Oh, man, the heads just rolled.
Yeah, I was going to say,
God.
I've never had that happen. That's scary, though.
Yes. Jeez. Yeah, it's all about check marking the box. They're not really, hey, is this you? And then looking at the ID, they're doing what they have to. It's all electronic. It scans that barcode on the back of it.
They also started taking pictures, though, as they left with their tags. And they should be able to tell you what tag picked up that car.
Good point.
So they started that about 5 years ago.
What's
I
it?
might be able to report back to you next week on, how
Yeah.
what their protocol
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I wonder how difficult it is to get a hold of footage. Let's say
Of that.
right?
Yeah.
I wonder.
If you tell them it's stolen, it'll probably go, yeah. I mean, they'll be looking it
And
up.
this is where
fast.
calling the cops. So
Yeah.
how much time? All right. So how much time does he let pass before he calls the cops?
Well, deal with the broker stuff first. If the broker doesn't do anything or they don't have anything going on, then you call the cops.
Well, the part that sucks about this is I'm going to have to deal with it in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And, some of these municipalities, they want you to come in to file a police report.
So
So
most of this stuff, because we've done this so often lately, which is crazy, but you can do it over the phone. You got to get a hold of someone, yes, in Arizona, and they'll file all that stuff. But then they're also going to talk to you. Where are you from, Missouri?
Yes.
Okay. Then they're also going to get a cop involved in Missouri too. But you're right. I hate to say this, they don't usually care. I mean, they really don't.
Man,
They
I was
got
just
so
going to
much
say,
shit going
this
on,
is
they don't
actually,
care.
if you're in the list hacking business, look for cars that are traveling across state lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's sad. You're right.
Totally.
Because they don't want to pursue it. They have not done anything about the truck that got stolen from me, and they ripped out the transmission and done nothing. I've not heard from a cop yet.
Okay, in the list hacking business, we might do a show on this. You would have on one of your bombed out walls, you would have cities that care the least.
Right, there you go. Right. I guarantee you Florida is one of them because that's where it happened. Because I think Florida is one of the #1 states for cars getting stolen. That, Arizona, and probably LA.
Oh, that's not good with the Arizona thing.
Yeah. Phoenix, LA, I mean, any of those cities, yeah, that's a bad place because they just have so much crime going on. They don't have time to deal with, your piddly stolen car episode is the way they think of it. You know what I mean? So.
Might be part of a statistic on this one then.
Yeah, text me. I want to know who that broker is, and I'll help you as much as I can.
I absolutely will. Yeah, that would be.
I got the name of the Fight Club Auto Transport. We make soap and we steal cars.
Name says it all.
Yeah, there you go.
Never let me near the wheel. That was a really interesting story. Yeah, Dan, we do want to know, and I want to. So I'm jumping in late, but I've been here the whole time. And that's that. Did you say you hired a broker? Is that why there's a broker involved?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So now that I've been out
you
moving,
listed it, but you hired a broker.
Yeah.
Now that I've been moving cars a little bit, I haven't been so involved with the dealership side of things, and this was something, like I said, my partner handled. He's got a broker he's dealt with over the years, and I just assumed that guy posted it, and now we got one of these guys picking it up, and of course it was kind of a rare sport. It was a nichier sports car, one of them popped up Subarus, so
yeah,
one of those STIs. I don't know if that kind of what put it on the radar. Maybe these guys are just trolling through the load boards looking for certain cars they're after, and then grabbing those cars.
Oh my God, totally. Actually, that totally makes sense. Because if you're at this point now, you're just cherry picking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about all that
my
information
God.
you have at your disposal.
This is crazy.
And then these police, at this point, these police municipalities aren't doing anything about it. So why wouldn't you?
Wow. That is crazy. This is
4, 5, 4,
really nuts. And nobody can talk about it. The only things what we see, the FMCSA has been notified. We saw that that article about freight, but there's no LinkedIn post. These 5 companies got stolen from last week in auto transport.
Sounds good.
It's not going to happen.
Nobody wants anybody to know.
Heck no. No. God, no.
GSK Logistics out of the Woodlands.
So I'm not sure how this continues to get talked about other than, hey, camera one, if your car was stolen, let's talk about it, and we'll do the voice changer and the silhouette. We won't use names. And, okay. That's enough of that. So I did want to share this. It seems like a clue of the future. We got a clue about the future.
Thank you.
And this is from Central Dispatch, talking about best practices for carriers. Have you seen their website lately? It's changed. Yeah, check it out. Go to
So this
centraldispatch.com.
best practices for carriers, is this from their website?
This is on
Yeah.
their website. Central
Excellent.
Dispatch. Yeah, best practices for carriers. Check a shipper's transactional ratings. Sue, how do you feel about transactional ratings?
Don't mean anything.
I know.
Not unless you know them.
I thought that was that, and I love that that's the first thing listed, and I thought of you immediately. Check the price compare tool. So we're 0 for 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Always, I know, right? Always complete the dispatch process. Now, I thought that actually is pretty good.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That well,
Move
other
it through
than
the buckets, right?
the only thing that would
There's a 10
confuse people
there's one
on
that
is if they're
goes
new
there.
and they don't know that Metro has their own place and Cars Drive have their own place.
Ah, that's right. That's day 2 in the dispatch training.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Be cautious of unsolicited or look-alike outreach. What does that look like? I know. What is what?
I think that's somebody like I'm taking it as somebody called you and asked you for your credentials,
So somebody from the company
saying they're with
saying they're with.
somebody. Yeah, I mean that's
Or like
happened.
that truck stop scam that was going.
Yeah, there was also one on Central. They were calling around, asking for your what was it, Maltwise shipped out cars username? No, maybe it was you shipped. There was a couple of them. They were calling, asking some of the drivers, saying they were me, and asking for their credentials last year. Yeah.
Saying they were
Hold
you.
on.
Hi-
Hold on. We need a pause. Were,
Yeah.
were they at least
Uploaded
females
for DSP.
saying
Yeah,
you,
I
or were
think
they like
so.
males? Like, hey, this is Sue. I need your login and password.
And they would say they were with Murphy Auto Transport, and then my driver would call me, and I'm like, none of us called you. I mean, and
Oh wow!
I would never ask you for any of that because I already have it for one. So, yeah, that's the kind of crazy stuff that was going on. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Because I just reported on the story. There's now AI that can match your voice in 3 seconds.
That's right. Because there was something that
That's
happened
scary.
on the news not too long
Yeah,
ago.
like anybody's cell phone voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if people still have that.
The voice, what?
Do people still use their own voices? Hey, this is Frank.
Yeah,
I can't.
mine
I'm not
does.
I think mine is a computer generated whatever
Oh.
that just says this voicemail is full.
Oh.
That's my voicemail.
These are all the reasons why no one will answer phone numbers they don't know.
Yeah.
Spam
It's-
Likely calls me all the time. We're friends.
That and bill collectors.
Hi, this is Spam Likely from the #1 load board.
I wish
That
it would
is-
come up and tell you when they're calling you for their health insurance thing so you could just
So-
automatically hang up.
I gotta
Yeah.
say, #4 just moved to #1.
What was number 4?
Be cautious of Spam Likely.
Ugh.
#5, create
Yeah.
individual accounts for your employers or contractors.
Yeah.
Now
I see.
that is interesting.
that's a
Do
good
you
idea.
do that, Sue?
I don't, but I mean, if my drivers wanted it, yeah, I'd do it.
See, that's the part that I thought. Yeah, let's check with Sue
Do as I say, not
Right.
as I do.
Dude, yeah.
That's a good code.
Oh no, that's terrible.
I mean, I can see if let's put it this way, I can see using it, but I only have one driver, and me and Danny are pretty tight, so I
I'll
don't
do it
usually use
tomorrow. I swear.
it. Doing it later.
Right.
Oh man, it's like parents in the cars with the kids. Where did you learn that? You? Okay.
Right?
Make sure your current email address and phone number are both linked to your owner's account. Now, I'm assuming actually that one, but right in your just make sure your profile's up to date, kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, yeah.
But some of those profiles get pretty out of date.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And paperwork, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then it says this: shippers and carriers are responsible for determining what partners they want to do business with and validating any credentials. Central Dispatch is not a party to any agreements.
Where's that located at?
Yeah, on Central. Well, that's right, and that's why I made sure I included their logo. It's on their site.
Is that the top of their screen?
That's at the bottom. I just moved it to
She
the top
accepted, but she
for
didn't send me the
convenience of
load.
screen
Oh.
capture. But,
Okay.
I think I'm going to start reading from bottom to top.
well, the lawyers will tell you don't do that, by the way. In fact, it probably says at the bottom, if you start reading here, that's illegal.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, Michael. Man, we're over time anyways. We're going to keep going for a bit. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. We'll go for another few minutes. Thanks, Michael. Great
Take care, guys.
contribution.
Bye.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Let's see here. Okay. And I just want to share this because this is impressive. They said lots of choices for shippers, lots of vehicles for carriers, 20,000 carriers in their network over the last year.
Is that what they're saying they have total, or just saying that's what they've had sign up?
I think that you hit
How many
right
are still
upon it.
here? Yes.
We're gonna start calling you Fine Print Sue.
Yeah, still on here. No, they don't want you to know that stat.
No.
Because the
So that
saloon.
means they're making 2,000,006. What is it? I'm sorry. Was it 26 million? No, 2.6 million a month if they have 20,000 carriers just for the
Oh.
carriers.
What's the difference?
Well,
yeah. Right.
But you have
At
to
this
average
point.
out because the saloon door swung 20,000 times, but it doesn't mean there's 20,000 active carriers, right?
right.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
That is the truth. That's why it's 20,000 carriers in our network over the last year.
year.
Now, there's nothing wrong. I'm not mad, but we're just talking about,
That's good marketing.
Well, and that's actually very fascinating you said that. Because creative marketing seems to govern most messaging today. And yet, it's the sales that takes the front seat as far as attention. But we're all engaging in very creative marketing now. We sure
All the way
are.
around.
All the way around. Over 10 million vehicles posted last year. Each year. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I can see that.
I mean, even if you get rid of triples and doubles, it's still a lot.
That is a lot.
Okay.
And this is what Cox Automotive is beating on their chest about.
It's on centraldispatch.com. Allegedly. That's where
This is why they're the only load board worth paying for.
Well, that's why they're the number one. They're going to stay number one. And
Yep.
boy, oh boy, they are going to stay number one.
I agree.
Even if it costs a lot of money. Ship.cars shared a poll. This is the poll I was talking about. Hey, how do you communicate? Phone calls and text. Okay. Super Dispatch has carrier suggestions. Do you know about this, Sue?
Yeah, they've had it for a while.
Okay.
It comes up on your screen.
All right. I thought
When
maybe
you
it
say
was new.
suggestions for like loads, they're suggesting for you.
Loads like
I've-
that. If you've done them previously in the past, or you might be in the same area, or something to that effect, that's what comes
Are
up.
they tracking my movements?
Ooh.
Technically.
Yeah, but you want
probably.
that. You want that. And did you...
Yep.
Do they have video vehicle inspections on Super Dispatch?
Yeah. Well, I thought so. It's not just pictures. I think you can do either one.
You can do video when you pick up and deliver a car?
Oh, it says it's new video. No, I guess not. It's brand new.
I did not know.
I've only
this.
been able to do pictures.
Okay,
Yeah.
then it's new.
That's why I'm saying if anybody, camera one, if anybody's using vehicle inspections when they use Super Dispatch, let me know. I haven't heard that yet. Maybe
And
it's
I'd be
brand
curious as
new. I don't know.
which one you think is better, doing a video or doing pictures?
Well, actually, see, that's one of the reasons why I think this technology is so new. Because how does that work? We've gotten used to photo,
pictures. Yeah.
right?
Right.
But what happens when people take videos and it's windy or their camera sucks or they
Right.
suck at taking videos or
Yes, and they don't nail down that exact scratch in
or
the
they
video.
run or they, or
Yeah.
they throw it to their buddy. I mean, this can go so many ways.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy on purpose, but think of the craziness, the curve we had to go through just to get people to take photos. Like Ready Logistics literally gave a wireframe that would say "stand here,"
Right.
silly, right? Don't be in the front seat, right? And so what's it going to take? Oh no, not education again. Oh God. How are we going to teach people to take video vehicle inspections? I'm asking the question. Jay, don't ask it. Just do your little jingle. Hey, Run Buggy has thousands of cars that need to get moved on the East Coast. Wasn't sure where the message went to, so I thought I'd share it too. Welcome to Auto Transport, and that brings us to we did the show, and we did it, actually.
Well, what did we accomplish?
Nothing.
What we do best, right?
That's what we do on Thursdays. Yeah. But dispatching is so... It would be like having a channel about plumbers unclogging drains. Who the heck's going to watch that?
A plumber?
No, because there's no
No.
money in it. No, not even the plumbers
There you
watch.
go.
Nobody's watching plumbers unclogging drains.
They
But
gotta have
we
that
did.
passion.
The irony
There
is
you
we
are bringing
talked...
up money. Money's got to ruin everything.
I know,
let's
it's
find what we're
terrible.
passionate about.
It is awful. That's right. That's why you can get rich brokering this course. It's only $29.99.99. That's right. Only $29.99.99.
So back to these
I'm
brokers.
fine.
and
Buy
all
one
these
and get one
brokers
free.
Jumping
Yeah.
into this. So I heard Sue mention. So are these guys using like one central account, and then there may be 10 brokers working under that one account
For
The
for these different brokers? How they're
List
getting on.
hacking, right? I'm with you. How is this working? Is it what we're talking about? List hacking?
is that what how they're getting
Or
on there?
Well, what my question is, what I'm wondering is, all these new brokers are jumping in here, and then sometimes on these listings,
The
you'll
double.
see the brokerage landline, but in the notes you'll see the actual broker.
Text that person.
Yeah. So
So
is there one account and like maybe 10 different guys
sometimes,
working under that one account?
well, if you notice,
Yes.
so
That's-
what
yes.
I notice it is most prevalent is in cars that are Copart and IA. If you notice, they'll always have a different number over the side. And when they don't answer the phone, I'll call the main line. They're like, oh, they're using our account to list this car. That one is different than a broker having asked for this guy's name and phone number. It's just because he's handling that particular load in that unit. So that I think there's two different things that you're going to see on there.
And is the central, are they aware of all these different people using one account?
Probably
and
not.
This is where the caveat comes in, and I'm not mad, but it's best to say we're not responsible.
Mm-hmm.
We built
A load ward.
the swap meet.
Yeah.
You are, if you
On your
come
own.
here, buyer beware, seller
Yeah.
beware. Just
Yeah.
beware.
Well, I'm surprised they wouldn't want their fees. I'm surprised they allow
Well,
that.
this is the
Well, they're
okay.
getting their fee though,
Here's
They're
your
already getting
irony. This,
because you pay
yeah,
an
you
X
pay for
amount
access.
to list so many on the board.
Okay, there we
But
go.
This
What,
is
is there an unlimited package though? Isn't there an unlimited?
I don't think there's.
I don't think so, no.
I think it's like $3,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure, it's unlimited if you've got like 5 Gs.
Yeah.
So here's what makes this fascinating. If there's fine print that, you're in
It's-
charge of your decision making, however, we're saying that there's a lot of carriers, a lot of vehicles, really great, lots of great stuff, and we charge you a monthly fee. At what point can you say, yeah, but we don't really have anything to do with anything happening here?
Yeah.
Really great, monthly fee, we're not responsible.
We only want to take credit for the good
This
stuff.
is where I think it gets interesting, and I'm not trying to cause a problem. Sorry, I'm on that edgy truth thing again.
This is the real world.
I don't know, and it doesn't matter. I'm just asking the question. And I think the FMCSA, periodically, when they're reminded to look at brokering, they go, what's a load board again? Oh, it's just a bulletin board? Like a BBS, like in the 80s when like Matthew Broderick war games on the phone. That? Okay. Well, it seems, the 80s are cool, so it's got to be fine.
Just flying under the radar, huh?
Yeah.
Until one day, there will be like this load board task force. I don't know. And meanwhile, just like, see, that's really, I like, Dan, that you brought that up. Dude wants to work with a brokerage. Brokerage is listed as the broker. Carrier calls to book a load, needs to call dude, not brokerage.
Right.
And I've been that guy.
Yeah.
I've called the brokerage and like, you got to call dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not our load, it's dude's load. Really? Okay. That's fine. It's the 80s. But now, in Scam Central 2024, that ain't working out so well.
Yeah.
And it is, and again, the FMCSA says we're a safety association, man. We're not like locking up scammers. And that's why the advice was, well, call the FBI. Somebody could actually say to you, Dan, call the FBI. Right? Like,
I've had that said to me, actually.
I'm not surprised.
Over an odometer fraud that happened in Chicago. And again, I solved the case. It wasn't hard to figure out who did the odometer fraud, but again, no one did anything.
Nope.
And then I found myself in a 2-year civil lawsuit.
Wow.
That cost me $7,000.
Right. Well, that's the other problem, too, is following up. This is why oftentimes things are written off as a loss. But if you're a small business, you can't just write off $1 million losses.
No.
And I know you won't see that on LinkedIn either.
No, that's the thing people don't realize. In order to write it off, you have to have it.
Yeah, true.
That's the part everyone wants to, everyone wants to say, oh, it's a write-off. It's a write-off. Well, that may be true, but, I got to have it in order to be able to write it off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But I'm not sure that's in Get Rich Quick Brokering for $29.99.99.
No.
That's the $49 package?
Yeah, you got to pay more. It's going to be more.
Man, I knew I should have upgraded.
Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. Sue, great show. Janice, excellent dispatching.
Thank you.
Yes. She's been working the whole time, and here we are just goofing around. All right, well, listen, I don't know what we're doing next Thursday. Dan, we'll have you back again sometime. Keep us posted. I'll let you go, and then we'll finish this show out.
Yeah, I'll update you on what I find out on the, the missing car. Hopefully
I want to know.
Yeah.
Email me.
Hopefully it turns up.
Send me the boot prints and all that stuff. We'll put it in the news.
Okay. Fantastic.
Okay.
You guys have a good one.
All right, you too. See you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually provided a lot of really interesting information and detail relevant to. It's not on broker do's and don'ts, and I'm honestly that's part of one of the terrible things about calling it broker do's and don'ts is what are we going to accomplish? But I think there was some great stuff that came out of the search for edgy truth.
True.
Yeah.
Just leads to more stuff.
Exactly. It does. It leads to more stuff. So, all right, we'll get some feedback from him. I do have, I'll just say this, next week, Dorda. I think Dorda contacted me through LinkedIn and we'll set this up now since, we don't do any planning. There's no planning in between shows between Jay and Sue. Like, there's no time for that. Dorda is he's got 5 years in auto transport industry and was an agent at a brokerage.
Okay, cool.
wants to say hello, has some ideas for some information. So we're going to try and get Dorda on.
Okay.
That's cool. And that's good, too, because I do want to do carrier do's and don'ts.
Right. Yeah, that'll work.
You know, which will be as exciting as plumbers sitting around talking about clogging drains. So we'll do that next week. So, all right. Well, that's the end of the show. Janice, what do we say, office?
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
Sue.
Goodbye, Sue.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great week. I'll talk to
See
you
ya.
later. All right, see you. Bye.